Welcome back, thrill seekers, to the combat arena. It may be smaller today, but the stakes higher than ever, because stepping onto the bloodied ground is one of Daggerheart's most volatile and fearsome creations, the Battle Box. The crowd hungers for carnage, but who dares face this mechanical nightmare? To answer that, we must rewind the clock. 2 days ago, in the velvet-draped office of the city's portly, gambling-obsessed leader, a bold challenge was issued. Bjorn, a Ridgeborn Firbolg warrior, with a sword in his hand and arrogance in his heart, was boasting as usual. "Your arena is a joke," he sneered. "Oh, is it?" replied the city leader with a sly grin. "I conquer any challenge you throw my way, alone." "Willing to bet on that, are you?" "Just name the stakes." We're not with him. And so the stage was set. The metal menace awaits in the arena as the gate prepares to open. Will Bjorn's bravado carry him through, or will the battlebot silence yet another foolhardy hero? Let's find out. It's worth noting that in the Daggerheart rulebook there is a formula for working out an evenly matched battle. You get battle points equal to 3 times the number of players in combat, plus 2. In this case, 5. We can see in the guide to spending battle points that a solo adversary like the battlebot costs 5 points, so it should be an even fight. While backstage, Bjorn uses his battle ritual feature. The ritual allows him to purge his doubt, shedding 2 stress and gaining 2 hope like a storm cloud pulling lightning. And how does Bjorn ready himself for the bloodshed to come? He punches himself in the face repeatedly. He wants to feel the sting, to wake the beast, to remind himself that pain is his ally and carnage is his calling. As the gate opens and Bjorn steps foot onto the arena floor, the crowd erupts and the battlebot awakens, its frame lurching to life with the sounds like thunder forged in steel. The stage is set. The GM starts with 3 fear. Bjorn wants to start big. He uses his reckless domain feature. He marks a stress to gain advantage on his attack roll. He rushes forward, wielding his improved longsword. He makes an attack roll with advantage, rolling the duality dice, plus a d6 advantage die. He also adds his agility trait of plus 3. The result is a 29 with fear. His attack beats the battle box's difficulty rating of 15. The GM gains a fear and will be able to make a move shortly. First, Bjorn rolls for the sword's damage. His improved longsword deals d8 plus 6 physical damage. Now Bjorn's proficiency is 2, so he rolls 2 d8s. As a warrior, he also has the combat training feature, where he can add his level to the damage roll. This means his damage is 2d8 plus 9. What's more, he also took the not good enough domain card, so he can re-roll any 1s or 2s on the damage dice. He scores a total of 23 damage. This is in the severe damage threshold for the battle box, an epic start for Bjorn. The battle box marks 3 hit points. Now, because Bjorn rolled with fear, the GM gets to make a move. A move could be anything from activating an environmental feature to causing the player to mark stress. The key thing here is that the move must reflect the narrative. As this is a battle to the death, and Bjorn just rung the battle box's bell, it makes sense to spotlight the battle box and attack Bjorn right back. The GM describes how the box's gears start humming in an ominous rhythm, and uses the box's random tactics action, marking a stress to do so. The GM first rolls a d6 to find out what the attack will be. He rolls a 2, which activates the battle box's fire jets. It prepares to shoot into the air to spin and release jets of flame. But before it does, let's look at Bjorn's Attack of Opportunity class feature. By launching into the air, the box has left melee range with Bjorn, so he gets to make a reaction roll against the box's difficulty to see if he can make an opportunity attack. Don't forget, reaction rolls do not generate hope or fear. Bjorn rolls and adds his agility trait. The result is an 18. Now Bjorn gets to choose what he wants to do from the options the feature provides. I'm riding the box. The GM grins. This is exactly the kind of chaos that GMs live for. He describes how the box blasts skyward, spewing jets of flame that scorch the arena floor, leaving blackened craters in its wake. The crowd gasps, and then impact! The box slams down with brutal force. Dust and fire ripple outwards. And miraculously, Bjorn is completely unscathed. The gods of battle are watching, and they are amused. Now, the battle box has a passive feature which means it can be spotlighted twice during the GM's turn, so he spends a fear to use it again. The GM describes how the box uses its slam attack, lurching and rolling and tipping to try and squish Bjorn beneath it. It makes an attack roll against Bjorn. GMs always roll a d20 and add the adversary's attack bonus, a +2 in this case. He gets a 14 in total. This is above Bjorn's evasion score, so the attack hits. The GM describes how the box slams Bjorn hard against the floor. The battle box rolls for damage, 2d6 +3, and he scores 11. This should be minor damage for Bjorn, but he marks an armor slot to take no damage at all. The GM now spots a golden opportunity to make another move. Golden opportunities are where the narrative just presents the perfect moment to add a new complication or story hook. Here, the GM describes how the boxer's heavy weight on top of Bjorn causes him to be restrained. Bjorn will need to make a strength roll to escape. With play returning to Bjorn, he describes how he uses all his strength to push upwards and attempt to lift the box high enough to roll free. He rolls the duality dice, adding his strength trait, and scores a total of 12 with fear. This does not beat the battle box's difficulty rating, so Bjorn is unsuccessful. His arms just cannot shift it. The GM gains a fear and gets to make a move. Now, failure with fear is usually a hard move. He describes how the box lifts itself a few feet off the ground, just enough to give Bjorn the sense that he might escape before crashing down again with another slam attack. Because Bjorn is restrained, the GM gets to roll with advantage, rolling 2d20s and taking the highest. And he gets a critical success! Now Bjorn is in trouble. The GM works out the maximum possible roll from his damage dice, in this case 12, then rolls damage like normal and adds it to that total. All in all, he gets a 22. This is major damage for Bjorn, but he marks an armor to reduce it to minor, and marks 1 hit point. The GM spends a fear to spotlight the battle box again. He marks a stress to use the boxer's randomized tactics once more. Again, he rolls to see what happens. The result is a 1, and the battle box activates its mana beam. This is perfect timing. A searing beam shoots downwards at the trapped Bjorn below. Again, the bot makes an attack roll with advantage, and he rolls a 16 for a total of 18. This is a hit against Bjorn. The GM rolls 2d10 +2 for damage, getting a total of 12. This is in the minor threshold for Bjorn, but marking another armor slot saves him from marking any hit points at all. Play passes back to Bjorn. He really wants to get out of this predicament and spends a hope to use his blacksmith experience, describing how handling heavy iron back at the forge has given him arms like cannonballs that can lift any piece of metal with enough effort. Again, he makes a strength roll to lift the box, adding +2 for the experience. He rolls a total of 26 with fear. He's managed to push himself free of the immense weight and scrambles to the side behind a crate. The GM gains a fear and gets to make a move, describing how the immense effort put a heavy strain on the warrior's back and arms. He asks Bjorn to mark a stress. Then the GM spends a fear to utilise another of the box's randomised tactics, marking a stress to do so. This time the box activates its shocking gas. All targets within close range, which includes Bjorn, must succeed on a finesse reaction roll or Mark 3 stress. Bjorn's finesse trait isn't good, but he scores a 15 and just manages to avoid the gas. The GM spends another fear to activate the box again, this time describing how the box whizzes over to Bjorn to use its slam attack. He rolls a 4 on his attack roll for a total of 6. This is below Bjorn's evasion and the attack misses. The GM describes how the box slams into the crate that Bjorn was behind and it shatters into pieces. With play returning to Bjorn, the warrior spends 3 hope to use his No Mercy warrior feature. This will give him a +1 bonus to all attack rolls until his next rest. Next, he swings his longsword, using his reckless feature again to get advantage. He marks a stress to do so. In total, he gets a 26 with hope. This beats the box's difficulty and it's an emphatic success. The GM asks Bjorn to describe what happens as he rolls for damage. Bjorn says that the blade tears through the enchanted steel, shattering exposed cogs and grinding gears into scrap. The glow sputters and dims as smoke pours from the wound. The damage roll totals 18. This is in the major threshold for the box, and it marks 2 hit points. Because Bjorn's roll was not a failure or with fear, the GM does not get to make a move, and Bjorn goes again. He prepares for another reckless blow, marking another stress to do so. This time he scores an 18 with fear. The attack is a success, but the GM gains a fear and will be able to make a move in a minute. First, Bjorn rolls for damage, this time scoring 21. This is in the severe threshold for the box. Bjorn crunches his sword into the box's gears and waits for the inevitable retaliation to come, closing his eyes to accept the blow. "How do you want to do this?" asks the GM. Bjorn's eyes light up and he describes how the battle box judders, its frames sparking and staggering, smoke hissing from fractured vents. One light flickers, a shockwave of sparks erupts as the machine convulses. Gears grind and shriek, trying to turn, only to tear themselves apart. The core flashes, once, twice, then detonates in a burst of blue flame and smoke. The battle box has a final line of defense. Its death quake. The rapturous explosion hits all creatures within close range. Bjorn must make an instinct reaction roll to avoid it. He scores a 14, not quite enough to avoid the blast, and takes 2d8 +1 damage, and the box rolls a total of 12 damage. This is a minor wound for the warrior. He chooses not to use an armor slot this time, embracing the wound as a badge of honor as he stands atop the wreckage, smoke rising around him like a war god summoned from legend. The arena erupts. The beast is broken. Victory is his. Thank you for watching. It has become an ongoing sign-off now to apologise for any mistakes I've made, but please do point them out in the comments. I can actually think of one already. The Firbolg has the unshakable feature, where they can roll a d6 each time they're supposed to mark stress. On a 6 they don't mark stress. I forgot to use this with Bjorn. I guess we all do this though, and let's not forget that story is king. Minor mishaps in the rules just make things a little more interesting. Please like and subscribe as usual. And here's your advice for this week. Never be afraid to be a little reckless when fighting for something you want. Take care.